Hi everyone, I'm going to do the last page of my giant art journal that I showed you how I constructed it from a plain watercolor paper, from a pad of watercolor paper. Just back to back I've glued the pages down, and this page I've already prepared it with gesso. I didn't know at first what I'm going to do. I still don't quite know, but it was already prepared with gesso. I want to stamp around all my background, and I'm going for all kinds of circles, and I hope they will show through the other layers that I'm planning to put down, but I can't be sure. If it does, it's okay. If it doesn't, also okay. So I've got this stamp and ink pad by Memento, Nautical Blue. I really love this stamp, and it always adds interest to my backgrounds. I really like how it turns out each time. So I'm not even trying to make it accurate or something. I just want to add, as I said, interest. So just putting it randomly on my page. Sometimes it's easier when it's still on this acetate and not on acrylic block. It's more flexible like that. Just another one here. Yeah. And let's see, I've got two more with circles that I'm going to again do randomly on my page. Maybe if it won't show through the other layers that I'm thinking about, then I'll go again and stamp more, but for now I'm putting this down. Yeah. And I'm thinking that I want more circles, so I'm going to take only one from these circles, only one, and also stamp it all over my page. Now I want to glue pieces of paper napkins, and so I need to be sure that what I've stamped here is dry, so it won't smear when I put down glue. Let's see. Yeah, lots and lots of circles. So this is it for now, and I'm going to give it a blast from my heat tool, and just so you will see, I have here, these are the white layers of paper napkins that I used, and from time to time when the stash is too big, I'm starting to just spray them with my homemade sprays that are from gel food coloring and water, I've already done some video about it, how to use the white layers of napkins. So I've got all this paper napkins with the sprays that I'm going to take pieces and glue all over my page in the hopes that it will create an interesting background. So I'll be right back. I'm back. So I've got here my white glue. It's not diluted, it's as is, and I want to take pieces of the paper napkin, just tear them apart and start gluing them down. I thought about using I've got an adhesive spray, and it's more a dry technique to adhere paper napkins. Now you can find them at least here I can find the spray adhesive in my hardware store, not in craft stores, and it's not so cheap, but it lasts for a long time, so it is an option. But then I decided that I'm going with same old with the white glue. So I'm going to just put down a few pieces so you will see what I'm doing, and then I'll get off camera because it will take quite some time to put down all these pieces. And as you can see, I haven't waited enough time for the ink to dry, so it's smearing a little bit, but it's okay. Putting down paper napkin and going over it. Don't care if there are wrinkles, I love wrinkles. It just adds to the whole thing. When you're gluing paper napkins, use soft brushes, use the flat of the brush so it will slide and not drag your paper napkin, and then it will tear. So that's my bit of a tip about paper napkins. So I'm going to continue tearing out parts of the paper napkin and gluing them all over my background. I'll be back when I'm done. I'm back. So my background is covered with all those pieces of napkins, and you can still see what I've stamped below, so I'm really pleased with it. But I'm not finished with my circles. I remembered I had this napkin, so I'm going to separate the white layers, and I'm going to glue down several of the circles on top of this background. Still separating. There are some napkins just don't want to separate from the white layers. Okay, moving it this side. Now I don't have enough room to be in a frame, but each time I'm going to use a fine brush with water, and I'm going to pick a bunch of circles like so. I don't want straight edges, when there are straight edges, it's more pronounced on when you glue it on your background. So I'm going to take several pieces like this, each time a different bunch of circles like so, and I'm going to glue all these pieces on my page. Let's see. I do have straight edges from the edge of the napkin, but it's okay. I hope it will blend fine with the rest of the things. So keeping still taking out pieces of this paper napkin, and putting it down in various places. I'm thinking I'm going to continue, and I'll be back when everything is down. I'm back. So here is my background, and it's lots and lots of glue, so it will take time to dry. I really like it, but I already see that if I want to place anything on it, I need to tone it down. So I'm thinking it needs to get dry, and maybe I'll go all over this with some kind of diluted acrylic and a brayer or a brush. We'll see. First it needs to dry so I can see what I have. Sometimes when it's wet you still don't see the end result of the vibrancy of the color, so I really need to wait with it, and then I'll continue. I'll be back. I'm back. So I want to tone it down and to bring it all together, my background. I really like it, but I need it so I can do put some focal points and something on top. I need to bring it down. So I've got here my trusty sponge, a little bit water on it so it will be easier to work with, and I've put here, this is a very diluted Deco Art Luscious Lemon, a lot of water, and I'm going to do this very, very carefully because I don't want to that everything will disappear in the background. I just want it more cohesive. Need a bit more water. I can always add more paint, but I will not be able to subtract from it, so I prefer working cautiously. So I'm really liking what's happening here because it toned it down. It's bringing everything to be more together, and it still added a little bit of light because it's kind of yellow, so it didn't diminish the vibrancy of my colors. Yeah, so again everything needs to dry so I can continue, and I'll be back. I'm back. So what prompted this whole page was this wooden ornament that I really like, of this tea caddy, teapot, yeah. And I really wanted to use it, but it's too thick and heavy for any art journal page. So what I've done is trace it on one of my flowery papers, and so I will have this image to use on an art journal page. And that's where it started, and as I said, I traced it, and then I've taken ink and go all around it, and I will show you how to do this. I've also drew an outline of a teacup, and again traced it on other papers. Here we go, my teacups. And now I will show you how I've done how I worked the ink on top of it. And let's see, still wet. I'll move it aside so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. Again, the same ink I've used on the first layer with the stamps, and this is some kind of makeup brush. I wouldn't know what to do with it if it was for makeup. I'm using it for crafting, so I'm just dabbing it on the ink pad. You don't have to have this kind of brush. You can use a Q-tip, you can use a sponge, whatever works for you. I just like to use this. You can even this is some kind of blended smudge look. It doesn't have to be this look. You can do another thing I can show you in a minute. If I was more organized, I can take a fine pen like so and start doing the outlines and shading to my cup like so. This gives another look to the whole thing. It doesn't have to be the smudged look. It can look more like a drawing. Here we go. It already is taking shape. Like so. So this is what I've done. That's the smudged look, and I'm just shading several areas so it won't look flat. I'm trying to do it with this kind of not straight lines, so it will go and create an illusion of a round cup, teacup. So that's it in a nutshell, how I made the teacups and the teapot. And here we go. You can add more if you want. It depends on you what you want for it to look like. It's not an exact science, and you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. here we go. So here is my teapot and 3 teacups, and while I was working on them I had another idea, and I traced them on this black paper, and I'm going to cut them out, and I'm going to use them as a drop shadow to my teacups, and I'll show you once everything is dry here. I'll show you what I mean. In the meantime, I'm going to wait for this to dry, and I'm going to fussy cut these shapes, and then I'll be back. I'm back. So I fussy cut the teapot and the 3 teacups and glued them to the black paper, and just glued them a little bit off so there will be like a shadow. And now I just want to attach them to my page. I'm using my silicone glue. This is a local brand from the cheap store, so I can't recommend anything about it, but if you want silicone glue, you can pretty much find everywhere. This, it's Yoo-Hoo, and this is silicone glue. So you can probably hear my children in the back. So here is my teapot. Like so, and I'm also going to glue now the teacups. Like so. I need to put something heavy until it's attached completely. So the other idea before I'm finishing with this page, I wanted to put flowers that are like spilling out of the teapot and into these 3 teacups. And I thought, how will they be prominent on this page, because it's a lot of details, and I don't think I can start to go over the edges of each one of them, so it will be a study in frustration. So what I thought about is taking again my the same ink pad and taking a brush, and where I want to put a flower, just do something like that, and then attach it. And another flower like so. So there will be something to make it more pronounced on my page, like so. Here we go. So that's what I'm going to do this with all the flowers that I want to spill out of my teapot. I'm going to also do some kind of shadowing here, so my teacups won't be floating in the air, and we'll see how it goes. I'm running out of time of filming, so I'll be back. I'm finished with the flowers, and the only thing, and the base for my teacups, and the only thing I'm doing now is I've taken a little bit of blue acrylic paint and a little bit the same color as the ink I've used until now, and I'm moving on dry brushing the edges with it just to enclose everything and frame everything in this page. And I don't want straight and harsh lines, so that's why I'm using just a brush to make this. There is no water on the brush, and I'm not putting pressure. I'm just, as I said, brushing it, and it also picking up the texture of the paper napkins. Adding a little bit here, just so it will look like there is more shadow underneath my teacups. And this is it. Only my teapot is flying in space. So that's it. That's my page. I hope you got some ideas and it will inspire you to make something. So thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving me comments below, and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.